Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the latest edition of Suppliers in the Spotlight webinar series for 2026, presented by the Infrastructure Sustainability Council. My name's Elise. I'm the Member Relations Manager here at the IS Council, and I have the very pleasant task today of introducing you to 6 businesses who offer products and services across Australia and New Zealand that can support the sustainability goals that you've set for your organisation, your community, or your infrastructure project. Whether you're working on smarter, more sustainable ways to extend the life of the assets you operate, or you're seeking low carbon alternatives on a project you're delivering, the 6 suppliers being featured today are keen to collaborate with you. Most of these suppliers are featured on the IS Council's iSupply directory, which for those that are joining us for the first time is an online marketplace for sustainability oriented products and services. It sits on the IS Council's website. For those of you who are undertaking the Innovation Challenge credits as part of your IS ratings project, engaging with these suppliers may support your rating outcomes, as well as sustainability performance and outcomes more broadly. Before we take a quick look at our agenda today, I would like to acknowledge country and pay my deep and sincere respects to the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet today, wherever that may be for you. I'm on the lands of the Gadigal people here in Sydney, but we'll also be hearing from suppliers from a variety of First Nations countries across Australia and New Zealand today. So a brief look at our agenda for our time together. Following this webinar, you will be able to access a recording and all the contact information of the speakers, as well as any unanswered questions in the Q&A, which will be addressed in writing. So while you're more than welcome to take notes, we've got you covered. As you're listening to each of the businesses during their allocated 4-minute presentation, please pop your questions into the Q&A widget, not the chat. I'll be drawing on a selection of your questions during the 2 Q&A sessions today, so please do write them in as they occur to you. All questions are very welcome and help us to get a good discussion going following the presentations. There are no silly questions. This webinar will be a snappy 45 minutes, so please stay with us right through to the end and take full advantage of this opportunity to become familiar with some new ideas and some better alternatives. First up today, I'd like everyone to meet Melinda Coles from Steel Sustainability Australia. Over to you, Melinda.
Thanks, Elise. Hi, everyone. My name is Melinda Coles and I manage the Steel Sustainability Australia certification scheme at the Australian Steel Institute. ASI is the peak body for Australia's steel supply chain. Our role is to represent, promote, educate and support the Australian steel industry, from manufacturing mills right through to the end users in the building and construction industry. Next slide, thank you. Today I'm talking about the Steel Sustainability Australia scheme. So our aim as a scheme is to give project teams the confidence that the steel they procure has been sourced and manufactured by sustainable businesses throughout the supply chain. In the diagram on the left, you'll see the crude steel mills at the top of the supply chain. So what SSA does is we verify that these steel mills meet sustainability standards that are expected in the global market. When the steel moves through the supply chain, through to manufacturing, rolling, processing and fabrication, SSA certifies that it's done so by sustainable facilities that meet ESG indicators that are shown in the table on the right. By using SSA certified steel suppliers, projects can meet credits within rating systems, including the Infrastructure Sustainability Rating, and they can also go on to win prestigious awards such as the World Steel Construct Steel Award and the ASI Steel Sustainability Awards, as well as many others. On the table on the right, you'll see that there are 4 levels of SSA. And the reason we have 4 levels is because this allows companies of all sizes to participate. We have quite a few small businesses that may only have a few, like a handful of staff, right through to large multinational corporations such as InfraBuild and BlueScope participating in the scheme. It's specifically designed this way so that small businesses can start their sustainability journey at level 1 and then they can work their way up to best practice if they'd like to. So this slide shows the progress of SSA since its launch 3 years ago. We now have more than 100 certified sites across Australia. We have 12 steel mills that are verified globally and 3 international pipe and tube mills that were early adopters to the scheme in 2025. This number of certified sites means that SSA is well placed to provide not only sustainable steel, but also local steel to projects with sustainability and local content targets. Also in 2025, SSA joined the ISC and is approved as a Type 1 environmental label to meet credits with within the design and as-built IS Essentials and operations rating tools. It is important to note that within ISC, they do require SSA of level 2B or above for the ratings. So why has SSA been so successful? At its core, it comes down to the fact that the scheme was built by the Australian steel industry for the Australian steel industry. That means it's been designed with a genuine understanding of what's realistic for local steel businesses, rigorous enough to satisfy rating tools like Green Star and ISC, but without piling on unnecessary burden for our local suppliers. Another big part of that success is that SSA doesn't stand still. We continuously update the scheme to keep pace with emerging regulation, including new frameworks like the mandatory climate-related disclosures. So our clients are always ahead of the curve and projects can be confident they're receiving steel that's certified against best practice current standards. Next slide, please. So the benefits of specifying SSA, these are outlined in this slide. So as SSA is a rigorous independent certification scheme, it's trusted in the market to manage sustainability risks. With the 4 levels of SSA, projects can select the most appropriate level to align with their sustainability objectives. So this could include modern slavery or carbon reduction. SSA also gives certainty that the steel has been handled throughout the supply chain by sustainable manufacturers and that the raw steel is sourced from responsible and sustainable mills that have EPDs for their products. And finally, SSA has a supplier listing on our website, and this assists project teams to identify sustainable steel suppliers easily. And by sourcing SSA certified fabricated steel, projects can meet local content targets and be assured that their steel meets the most current government regulations in sustainability. So that's the end of the presentation, and thank you for listening, and I look forward to your questions.
Well, thanks so much, Melinda. Next up today are Leah Kaslar, Kirby Bentley, and Ariana Clark from Jukian. Take it away, ladies.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. Can you hear me well enough?
Perfect.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. I just firstly want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands that we're meeting on today. It's important that we do that. For a lot of people with the misunderstanding around acknowledgement and welcome to countries, it's just like us turning up to your house and you allowing us to step into your space and us respecting what that space looks like. And we're across all parts of the country and we travel across our nation often, so it's super important that we do that. We are Aboriginal owned and female led renewable energy company. Our name Jukian comes from the Noongar language where my family and tribe is from, Noongar Yamaji. Jukian means sisters, and essentially that's what Leah and I are. We've known each other for 17 years and we have started this business to be able to empower women and Aboriginal people in a space that we don't often walk in, and which is construction and mining. Being a renewable energy company, we want to be able to replace diesel generators where we can on any construction and mine sites. I will hand it on to Ariana.
Good morning. My name is Ari. I'm the renewables lead for Jukian. As Kerbs mentioned, we are Indigenous owned, female led and engineering first. If you go to the next slide, Leah, I'll talk us through our product range. So we offer a host of renewable energy products. In particular, we go to construction and mining sites and replace diesel generators in variable load applications. So on the screen, you can see we have a range of equipment, our purple pods, purple cubes, and hydrogen products on the right. Our purple pods are a hybrid generator. They have a diesel generator, a battery, an inverter, and solar on top. and they work in conjunction, similar to a hybrid car, to produce power for site compounds, lighting towers, traffic lights, etc. Anything bigger than 75 kVA, we jump onto a battery energy storage system, which we pair with a diesel generator. That's the middle range. So from about 100 kilowatts up to 600 kilowatts. And on the very right-hand side, we have our hydrogen light towers and hydrogen generators. These pieces of equipment are a little bit futuristic. They're on a few government sites in Queensland, learning how the technology works, but they're going to be a very viable option in the future. Next slide, please. This slide demonstrates a 20 kVA diesel generator in comparison to our 20 kVA hybrid generator. So you can see in the graph, basically what this shows us is that our hybrid equipment only produces the power and energy that the site needs. So typically a diesel generator will be operating 24 hours a day, drawing constant power, chewing through lots of diesel, and it's not sustainable over a long period of time. So our hybrid generators, they come in, only produce the power that they need. And you can see in the graph, as the site team rocks up in the morning, coffee machine turns on, lights turn on, aircon turns on, the load increases and our generators will turn on and produce that power. And then when everyone goes out to site, the load drops. The diesel generator will turn off inside the pod and then the battery will just be providing power to the site. So yeah, that's enough from me. I'll hand back to Leah.
Thanks, Ari. We thought we'd just share a couple of examples of our key projects, which demonstrate basically the carbon and cost savings that you get from using a hybrid generator. So the majority of our projects are powering site compounds. For this project, we have been powering a small satellite site with 5 buildings on a level crossing removal project. The generator has been running for a year and 2 months now. The generator only actually turns on 2.6 hours per day, which compared to a diesel would be running 24 hours a day. You get an 89% reduction in engine hours. Your maintenance interruptions go down by the same amount, and obviously a big reduction in noise. Fuel consumption has gone down by 78%, and overall they've saved 2% on cost when you look at the rental cost and the fuel costs together. Basically, with a hybrid, your rental costs go up, but your fuel costs go down so much that you save money overall. Next slide, please. This is a larger project. So this is another level crossing removal project in Victoria. We've got a 100 kilowatt cube with a 100 kVA generator powering about 15 portable buildings. For this project, they've saved 22% in overall cost. The fuel cost we've used to calculate that is $2.40 a litre. Again, big reductions, 83% in engine hours and 78% in fuel consumption. So yeah, not only are you reducing fuel, but you're also reducing cost and improving environmental outcomes in terms of noise, and also longevity of life of your equipment. All of our equipment's paired with a carbon tracking and load tracking software, so we can see exactly how much energy the site's using and use that information to help drive decision making and also behaviours on site. For example, if we can see the same amount of loads being used at night as in the day, we can request sites set timers on their aircons and stuff like that. I think that's all of our time, so thank you very much. The next screen just shows we also have a range of supporting products like power distribution gear, fuel tanks, fuel management systems to go along with what we do. Thank you all for your time.
Thanks very much, Leah, Kirby and Ari. Next up, we have David Worsley from Worsley Consulting Engineers. Take it away, David.
Thanks, Elise. So, David Worsley, I'm the director and founder of the creatively named Worsley Consulting Engineers. I'm also a chartered civil engineer, and one of our key ambitions is to democratise carbon, and that's with the WC3 Carbon app that we've developed, which is Australia's first embodied carbon calculator specifically focused on civil infrastructure. So let's see how we do that. Next slide. So firstly, we specialise in ground plan engineering. We provide, in terms of our consulting side, we provide traffic engineering and climate and carbon advisory services, which we'll touch on a little bit. And in terms of sectors, so very much purpose-led, so social infrastructure, placemaking projects, particularly with council and state governments, and decarbonisation, and that's across obviously renewables, circular economy and waste management facilities, as well as electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Next slide. So in terms of carbon advisory services, just quickly, embodied carbon assessments, either on our own designs or otherwise we also can measure on projects with designs that are provided to us. Carbon benchmarking. So we basically are using our database of embodied carbon assessments on our own projects and other client and industry projects, and look at how your project compares, and also creates benchmarks based upon different types of projects, whether it's, for example, an arterial road, local road, open space project, etc. We also do specification review, so for procurement specifications, whether it's a tender brief, design brief, and also standard drawing reviews as well for government in particular. And also, beginning this year, we also made a commitment to measure the embodied carbon of every design that that comes out of our office. So we build WC3 to democratize embodied carbon, and that really means that we're trying to make it a lot more accessible. Embodied carbon is often the domain of specialists. I think everyone in a project wants to contribute to that, but they're just not sure how. And up until recently, there really hasn't been the right tools that enable that. So key aspects of the app is that it's built by engineers to support the design process. It's suitable for all project scales, which can be a bit tricky on many projects where they feel like the typical tools that are used are a bit heavy-handed, very complex, and the pricing is not particularly suited to a smaller project. So we're a lot more price competitive in that respect as well. It's a full life cycle, so A to C as well as D. It's aligned to the global standards 17472, which is for civil infrastructure. Australian methodology, so we're applying the Infrastructure New South Wales Carbon Guidelines methodology as our baseline, and it's also designed to be simple and intuitive for non-experts. So there's two ways to build a project. So data entry, so you input design elements, not volumes. So for example, you would input a road of, say, it's a 1 kilometre long, 16-metre wide carriageway, pavement thickness of, say, 40 mil for wearing course or 200 mil for base course, that sort of thing. So it's not chunking in volumes. Or there's the digital integration. So we've partnered with Civil Site Design, which is a Melbourne-based civil engineering design software package. Next slide. Data options. So our default database, it's pre-populated with Australian specific emission factors. So that's from all sources like Neighbours, AusLCI, New South Wales Carbon Data Book, and a few different others as well. You also can create your own custom materials, composite materials as well, by combining default materials in different mixes or project-specific factors. And of course, EPDs as well can override any material. Interesting thing is when it comes to A5 construction emissions, it's a bottom-up, not top-down under the hood. So that means that it's about physics-based, not about a per dollar or a percentage on top of an A1 to A3 calculation. So that looks at excavation, trench profile calculations, and so on. Next slide. And there's all the usual sort of scenarios and analysis comparisons. So here's just a couple of snapshots from different parts of the tool and how you can analyze the project, look at performance against benchmarks and distribution and so on. Next slide. There is also built-in AI analysis, so a virtual advisor. So this is not a chat bot. This is embedded AI, which checks for data quality, so highlights and flags any anomalies in the data or any missing information. Also gives you advice around reduction opportunities and also an executive summary for reporting as well. So IS supply member, and you can see a number of different credits that are available if you use the app, as well as potentially the innovation credit as well. Next slide. So we also contribute as a member to Stripe Climate, and that means that we contribute 1% of all revenue that comes from the WC3 app directly to carbon removal, and that includes projects like Lilac, based in Melbourne, which is low emissions cement. Next slide. So you can start your free trial. There's 30 days, as I say. You can also look at the QR code or the URL to find more information, or contact me to know more. Thanks.
Thanks very much, David. If you'd like to keep your camera and your microphone on, I'll also invite Melinda, Leah, Kirby and Ari to join us back in the conversation for a bit of a Q&A. For everyone watching today, if you have any questions for our first three presenters, please pop them in the Q&A widget. I might get us started while we're waiting for a few questions to come through. So first of all, one for you, Melinda. Can you tell us a bit about the kind of sustainability outcomes you're seeing in projects that are using this scheme?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. So SSA provides sustainable steel to lots of projects, including IS ratings as well as Green Star. And so we're really supporting the steel that goes into those projects. And so when we look at the manufacturing of that steel, that's what we're really focusing on. And so our manufacturers are seeing savings in carbon emissions. They're seeing waste savings. Most of them, all of them, we have an 80% diversion target that they need to meet in their manufacturing operations. So all of them are certified to be recycling, reusing, or reselling their waste 80% of what they produce from their sites. So that's a significant effect for those businesses. And we also ensure that their business operations are being done in a sustainable and responsible manner. So we look at their quality systems, their environmental management systems, ensuring minimal impact onto the environment. What that means for the projects is that the projects are then assured that the steel that's been handled through the full supply chain has been handled and processed and manufactured by suppliers that are really environmentally conscious and doing the right thing of what they need to do to be calling themselves sustainable suppliers.
Oh, thank you. And now one for the team from Jukian. Can you tell us a bit about the feedback that you've had from teams who are working with your hybrid systems in the field?
Yeah, sure. I think the fact that we've got an app which is paired with the gear on the field and people can actually look and see exactly what it's doing, whether they need to refuel, I think that's really helpful. And the carbon metrics which we can provide that can be given direct to reporting councils like yourself are really helpful. So we do fortnightly or monthly reporting for projects, and we also give them full access to that database. So I think being able to see the savings that they're making in real time makes a real difference. And also often diesel engines which are used to power site compounds are light loaded and can become glazed. So reliability is always a question. And we do get feedback that people are now seeing that hybrids are actually more reliable than diesel in these applications. When you do project review studies and you go back and you look at, downtime from diesel generators and maintenance issues from them in these sort of applications where they're being underutilised, hybrids actually do come out on top. Lots of positive feedback, and we are actually finding a lot of our clients are now looking at the gear not just to save fuel, but also for energy security. So the bigger project, which we showed you the case study for, they would be using about 5,000 litres of diesel per month if they were using a diesel generator alone there. By adding the battery to a diesel generator, they're only using 1,000 litres per month. So they only have one delivery per month. Thank you.
Thanks. One for David now. I'm curious how you think tools like WC3 can support the role of engineers and contractors when it comes to driving sustainability in projects.
I think it really helps with capability development and understanding how it all works. So, you know, it is designed to be relatively simple and intuitive and hopefully not as confronting. So engineers and contractors can jump into it and, you know, through the simple interface can understand, okay, what is the life cycle, understand the terminologies around, you know, A1 to A3, A5 and those sorts of things. So, you know, it's as much about capability building as it is about embodied carbon assessments in a way. So yeah, that's the intent yeah, you know, early days, but yeah, hearing some good feedback so far.
Sure, thanks. And pulling a few from our Q&A widget now. Back to you, Melinda. We've had someone ask what the process is to undertake and to create sustainable steel. So is electricity used or is it coal?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. So when we're looking at sustainable steel in terms of SSA and what we're certifying, so we're really focusing on the manufacturing of the steel once it's at the fabricator site or the reinforcing processor or the roll former. So what we're doing is we're first of all ensuring that they're sourcing their crude steel from SSA verified mills. And so the mills undergo their own verification process. So that looks at carbon emission reduction, ensuring that they have environmental product declarations, ensuring that they're minimising their water use or recycling water. So they have a few aspects that they need to be assuring SSA that they're currently doing. And within the certification process, so for the fabricators and roll formers, so sustainability really means that we're covering the full environmental, social and governance suite of indicators. So we're looking at how they're managing their business operations. Do they have a business management system in place, quality management system, OH&S management systems, as well as environmental management systems? And then how are they actually manufacturing the steel itself? So we're looking at how they're undertaking painting and coating of the steel, how they're managing their waste on the site, how they're minimising their energy use and the carbon emission reduction. So we're looking at a whole range of indicators. So you'll see on my slide deck, there was a table on, I think it was the second slide, that showed all of the indicators that we're assessing within Steel Sustainability Australia. So you can have a look at the actual indicators in that table, and you can also have a look at the SSA website. There's a lot of information on there, and obviously feel free to get in touch with me as well directly.
Thank you. Okay, there are still a few more questions that we haven't touched on just yet, so I'd love it if all of you could stay on the call and we'll get to them in the next Q&A. And for our audience, please do stay with us as we hear from our next three fantastic presenters. The first of which is Rajesh Bavsar from Geofabrics Australia. Over to you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Alice, and thanks everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Rajesh. I'm working as a GM Sales and Business Development for Geofabrics. I'm bringing a bit different views on the geosynthetic materials, where as a local manufacturer, how we are actually incorporating certain recycling and other innovations in our production. So we as a Geofabrics have been in the business of manufacturing geosynthetic materials and providing value engineering solution for nearly over 40 years now. Geosynthetic material is, if someone knows, is one of the most important or based innovations in the world, invented in 1960s. And some of the major projects and infrastructure throughout Australia and part of the world are actually standing on geosynthetic use and materials. So in general, geosynthetic engineering solution is the use of synthetic materials in civil engineering projects to achieve more cost-effective, environmentally sound and safer construction outcomes. Next slide, please. So in terms of sectors, I think so you can see in when I said infrastructure projects or other sectors well-renowned in the government as well as some other construction industries, you can see we have been in the business of manufacturing the materials for a long period of time, but at the same time, we work to protect, contain, and secure the physical environmental using smart geotextiles and geosynthetic products. So What we do, we help our client to mitigate environmental risk through world-leading research and innovating product development. As a local geosynthetic manufacturers, we focus on providing a use and a market of recycled material, which is integral to developing a circular economy. By incorporating recycled material into products such as Bidim Green, Tractec Green, Silmac Green, we have done some other works with the clients, and in terms of helping, we also help reducing waste to the landfill. And our footprint covers majority of the sectors where geosynthetic material has widely been used. So what we are doing, we have 2 manufacturing plants in Australia. As you can see, one is in Albury and one is in Ormeau. So whilst we are utilizing recycled material in manufacturing, we are also implementing changes to reduce our own impact onto the carbon footprint. So what we have done is we have installed solar systems, improved energy efficiency of the productions, and reduce waste. Our goal as a local manufacturer of geosynthetic materials is reaching carbon neutrality by 2050. And in terms of you can see the emission reduction, our scope also includes sustainable packaging to ensure excessive packaging is avoided by reduce to optimize material efficiency. We also have a goal to achieve 100% reduction in recycled packaging and 50% recycled packaging for Australian manufactured products. We are also a signatory of Australian Packaging Convent and report to APCO annually. Next slide, please. So what we have done recently, so we are the pioneer in releasing EPDs for Australian-made geosynthetics in particular region. So we focused on 2 products made in our Albury factory, utilizing one-click LCA sustainability platform for construction and manufacturing. And based on this particular EPDs are based on 12 months of Australian production data. And it also based on cradle to gate life cycle assessment. By doing that one, our actually commitment is provides transparent measurable sustainability data, including carbon footprint, energy use, water efficiency, and recycle content. Now, these particular products and everything what we are talking about is also independently verified. In our views, it assists customer with a transparency. It is very crucial for major projects in Australia to define and measure the carbon emission, and potentially we believe it will help our client to achieve or claim some carbon credit. Next slide, please. So as you can see, there are 2 products which we heavily focused made in Australia. The first one is our panel drain, which widely used for subsoil drain in different applications and different sectors. And that particular pipe is designed for rapid subsurface drainage application. And as you can see, some of the information says provided in this particular data that particularly with the MegaFlow Green, it demonstrates exceptionally low embedded carbon for the recycled content as an infrastructure product. And as you can see, it's a very low numbers, particularly in productions. And as we proudly say, it's made from 99.7% recycled material and support very low impact infrastructure outcomes. Now, second product, which is Bidim Green, is also combines verified environmental transparency with a long-term performance benefit required for sustainable infrastructure design. If you consider only virgin material, it would have a very high CO2 global warming potential. By utilizing 22% recycled content, it will be minimized or reduced. And in addition, we are actually gearing up to utilize around 50% of the locally sourced recycled material. It will further influence the global warming potential in the near future. Next slide, please. So as you can see, as a Geofabrics, we are a member of some renowned industry organizations throughout Australia, like ISC, EPD Hub, Sustainability Victoria's, Engineers Australia, WAMA, which is a particular landfill organization, ACIGS, Australian chapter of International Geosynthetic Societies, member of Australian Geomagnetic Societies, as well as OSMINE, and also part of the social traders. Next slide, please. And as I think so, we are one of the old ones, old members of ISC, where it's actually started as a first organization came as a ISCA, which have an A at the end, and now ISC. So our partnership with ISC is very pleasing and rewarding. When we started utilizing recycled material journey in our production, our first membership or first organization came on our radar was actually ISCA because of recycled materials we use. So our membership is a recognition of our long-term commitment to a greener future through using geosynthetics in major projects throughout Australia and New Zealand. And thank you. That's my last slide. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Rajesh. That's great. Next up, we'll hear from Tamara Hunt from Assembled Threads. Over to you, Tamara. I think
Tamara,
you might be on mute, Tamara.
Tamara, you're on mute.
There we
Sorry,
go.
that was like a whole slide I just said. So just start again. Okay, so we're an award-winning based social enterprise and ethical circular and recycled fibre workwear manufacturer. And we've been in operation for 6 years based in North Melbourne. We create long-term employment for underprivileged and migrant women. Next slide, please. So what we do, Assembled Threads, we're mainly renowned for our industry-leading high-vis vests. You can see one on the screen here. Our vests are locally made and ethically accredited. By using recycled fibres, saves 168 kilos of textile waste going to landfill, plus 305 kilos of reduction in emissions for every 1,000 vests that are produced. We also offer our customers full service workwear and PPE solutions, and where possible, we offer locally made products using recycled materials. We also offer a streamlined curated ordering system designed for simplicity for our customers. We work with a variety of sectors who require high-vis vests, including building and infrastructure, event companies and councils. I've included a couple of our trusted partners here, Icon, Jardine Group, Alchemy, Yarra Trams, Melbourne Park, just to name a few. Next slide, please. So Assembled Threads credit rating with ISC applies to innovation for both our high-vis vests and our circularity services. I've just noted a few stats here to be recognised for our impact at Assembled Threads. So since 2021, over 14,000 hours of accredited training has been delivered, 18,000 hours of skilled employment created, over $900,000 in paid wages to previously unemployed people, and tons of textile waste being diverted from landfill. So our main focus is not only ensuring sustainable revenue streams to retain our teams in long-term employment, but it's also to instill an impactful circular economy in recycling and repurposing wherever possible to prevent anything going to landfill. So we want to make our services as simple and as easy for our customers as possible. We even attend toolbox meetings at the commencement of projects or pat downs of projects, providing bins for all uniforms and PPE goods. Once we've collected, we can either repurpose or arrange recycling for textiles. So here's just a little bit of a flow chart of products that we receive that are used or damaged that we can't repurpose. So we can either do debadging, recycling and repurposing programs, donation pathways and reduce to landfill. But for those damaged goods, we offer recycling services where textiles are shredded to create fibres, felts and recycled yarns. We offer our customers a ESG reporting for every circularity service we provide, recognising volume of landfill diversion, amounts recycled, emissions avoided, water and energy savings. To the right of the screen, you can see a bit of an example of our upcycled banners, which predominantly from a building site is Gork Mesh. which would generally go to landfill, we can make a range of merchandise that can be used either internally or for, say, example, corporate gifts. This is an expanding area for sure for us, and we're working with these concepts with our partners to create unique and bespoke upcycled products. There's a few examples here that I've just provided, but we're forever growing this product range for our customers. So yeah, next slide, please. So in a nutshell, why partner with us? We help organisations meet ESG and procurement KPIs, contribute to the circular economy outcomes, support local manufacturing and women in business. We also offer data and reporting, and this can be achieved through ESG impact per transactions, annual sustainability reporting, and tender supports with projected outcomes. So that's my presentation. Thank you for your time, and please reach out if you've got any questions.
Thanks very much, Tamara. And our final speaker for the day is Stephen Mitchell from EPD Australasia. Over to you, Steve.
Thank you, Elise, and hello, everyone. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I'm Advocacy Director with EPD Australasia. Next slide, please. So what do? Well, we register and publish environmental product declarations, or EPDs, for Australian and New Zealand businesses. Next slide, please. So what is an EPD? Well, we provide as it's a standardized third-party verified report based on life cycle assessment. So each EPD provides transparent data on a product's environmental impact across its entire life cycle, from production, raw materials acquisition, production, to end of life, recycling and disposal. So each EPD includes a product's verified carbon footprint. They also include data for over 40 other environmental indicators, such as water use, energy use, circular economy measures, post-consumer recycled content, waste generation, resource depletion, and much more. Next slide, please. So EPD Australasia, we've just published our 4,000th, sorry, I'm going to get my head around that number, 4,000 EPDs registered and published for over 185 Australian and New Zealand businesses. So EPD Australasia, we're a joint venture of the Australian New Zealand Life Cycle Assessment professional bodies. So we've got really good technical backing. And we operate as a non-profit with an independent board of directors. So a very important part of our governance process. We're a part of the International EPD System, which is a global program for independently verified environmental declarations such as ours. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, over 185 businesses have EPDs registered with us, ranging from very small companies to very large. You might have heard of presentations in these forums from InfraBuild, from BlueScope, Wholesome, a lot of companies providing materials and construction products into the infrastructure market. Next slide, please. So EPDs and IS ratings. Well, product-specific EPDs, which are the vast majority of EPDs published with us, are recognised in the IS rating schemes as well as the Green Building Council's Green Star system. All the data and information independently verified by qualified and experienced LCA professionals. So it's credible data that's being provided. So in the two versions of the IS rating system, materials life cycle impact and measurement and reduction, sustainability labelled products and supply chains, our sustainability factor is 0.75 for product-specific EPDs. They can be used in the innovation credits, and increasingly a lot of suppliers are also including a material circularity indicator or MCI indicator within their EPD, and that's also information is independently verified. So that's very good for circular economy measures, which are increasingly becoming a factor in people's procurement decisions. Next slide, please. So how can EPDs used in more sustainable infrastructure? Well, they really help you understand how products are made. We had a very good webinar last year from companies that are using EPDs to understand how products are made and where materials are being sourced. They help you quantify the environmental impact of your products being used in your project, so you can make informed, more sustainable decisions with that verified data. And the fact that the EPDs are published, they can help you document and certify your project to the ISC rating scheme. Next slide, please. Then they're being used in tools such as Low Carbon Materials Hub. They're the basis of these sort of tools that benchmark things like concrete and steel, and we're proud to say that we've really helped drive down the embodied carbon impact of a lot of products in the infrastructure sector. New Zealand Steel have used this product data to make huge investments in lower carbon steel making technology in New Zealand. So they do have a practical application at the end user stage as well as the manufacturing stage. And my last slide, thank you. So there's our website, epdaustralasia.com, and my contact email there if you require any further information. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Please do keep your mic and your camera on, and I'd like to invite Rajesh and Tamara to do the same for some questions and answers. If any of our audience has any questions for Rajesh, Tamara, or Steve, or for our first three presenters, please pop them in the Q&A widget. Any of these that we don't get to today, we will address in writing after the presentation. Okay, so one for you, Rajesh. For teams that are used to more traditional products, how easy is it to make the switch to something like Bitum Green or Megaflow Green?
Good question. I think so. When I just might go to COVID scenarios where it was very common utilizing products coming out of other part of the world compared to India, compared to Australia. I think so. When COVID started and we have been hit with all the issues of not having enough raw material available in everything. In that particular case, when we started this journey of using green material in our production, and we introduced this material very, very slowly and gradually in this particular market without any major consideration, it was actually accepted by the industry, construction industry very well, only because definitely local manufacturing. And second thing is using locally sourced recycled material. And in terms of quality of the because generally when we consider using recycled material in a production, the first question is what would be the quality? So what we made it sure that whatever recycled material we are using is actually not going to compromise with product quality or long-term performance. So that was also a very good outcome for not only business like Geofabrics, but also for the clients. So it was very widely and easily accepted by industries in Australia and New Zealand.
Thank you. And one for Tamara now. Glenn has asked in the chat, are Assembled Threads products available via Safety Express, Bunnings, or similar bulk safety gear suppliers?
Oh, no, I'd love to, though. At the moment, they are direct through us. But yeah, open to any opportunities there.
Sure. Well, in the meantime, Glenn, reach out to Tamara if you'd
Yeah.
like to explore getting some of those products. Lucky last one for Steve. Can you tell us about what sort of businesses or projects you're seeing EPD being used in most?
Well, all sorts of infrastructure, road development projects. What's the big project in Melbourne there, the Ring Road? So they're basically mandatory if you're supplying concrete into some of these Green Star and IS rated projects, particularly for concrete and steel products. That's what I was saying. They really help drive down. It will drive down the embodied impact of concrete in particular in these sort of projects because they've really driven a sharp uptake in the use of supplementary cementitious materials such as slag and fly ash in concrete products and substituting for high impact Portland cement. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Steve. All right, that's all the time we have today. So a very big thank you to all 6 businesses who presented for us in today's Spotlight on the Supplier webinar. And an even bigger thank you to everybody who joined us online for your attendance and your attention. Please spread the word to your colleagues for future sessions so we can continue to drive support for these great businesses that are helping to build sustainable supply chains. As you exit today's session, you'll see a very short survey, which you can access by the QR code on your screen. We'd really love to receive your feedback and ideas for how we can deliver even more value in the future. For everybody whose question wasn't answered, we will address those in writing after the webinar. We very much look forward to seeing you all again later in the year for the next edition of Suppliers in the Spotlight. And until then, stay well. Kia ora and good afternoon.
Thanks, Elise.